at Christmas 2025. My name's James Trubney. This is our second Christmas at Pro Wrestling. And this is my first episode, which I am recording well in advance. I am actually in a hotel room in Glasgow, and it's beautiful. And I'm very, very happy with my choices this Christmas. And we're going to do what we did last year with Wrestling Christmas, which is look at a bunch of matches, a bunch of cards, one a day, every day. And we're going to go from Boxing Day's on Fridays. We're going to go from Saturday on to Wrestle Kingdom and have our Wrestling Christmas to give you something to get you through the week before Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement. Sad times. Anywho, we're going to start with Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. We are in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, at Reno Coliseo Guadalajara, one of the most famous, I think is probably the best way of putting it, wrestling venues on earth. It's their home away from Arena, Mexico. This show happened on the 16th of December. It's free to air on YouTube, and I'll be posting the links for that so you can go watch it. This is kind of the point. We're trying to get you into other wrestling we don't normally cover, just to give you something fun. That's probably one of the reasons why a few of these will be shortened by myself, because actually it reaches more people if it's shortened by myself. The YouTube channel does really, really well when we have short episodes. And also when we don't swear. So I will refrain from the bad language. This will be a wholesome wrestling at Christmas. Anyway, you had a 14-man Torneo Cybernetico match, which for those of you who are new to Lucha Libre, basically the heels wrestle the baby faces in an elimination tag match, and then whoever's left over wrestles each other at the end. And that's basically it. And it's madness. And to start with, the Rudos attacked the Technicos at the beginning of the bout, so I thought it was a Battle Royal to start with. And then I was looking at my cage match, very important research cage match when you're doing wrestling culture, you don't understand that well. And it said, no, it's a Torneo Cybernetico. Eventually things settled down and it got into a Torneo Cybernetico. It was won by Luminoso. It was really good. And they defeated Canala, Destructor, Gran Canu, Javier Cruz Jr., Legan, Mandala, Mortis, Ponzano Jr., Kuka, Red Terror Jr., Torino, and Ultimo Angel. Ultimo Hangel would be the correct pronunciation of that. And yeah, it was fun. Really enjoyed it. It was a bit mad, as you would expect from that particular event. A lot of these guys haven't got cage match pages. Will tell you how green they actually are. Canala, I liked him. He's basically a stripper, but just an ordinary looking bloke. He's well ripped and everything, but he's kind of like plain. But he's wearing, like, suspenders or braces if you're British, and the cuffs of cuffs, not like the shirt, and a bow tie. So he looks like, kind of 90s cheesecake kind of, or 80s cheesecake kind of Chippendales kind of look to him, despite the fact he doesn't look anything like a Chippendale because he's just an ordinary looking bloke, which I find hilarious, makes me laugh. Of course, he's a Technicos as well. So that was fun. Angel de Bian, Astro Oriental, and Lince de Bajio defeated Monotoro, Optimus, and Prono 2-1 in a best of 3 falls match. A 6-man tag. Again, I was not that familiar with everybody in this match. They are quite new, but blasted along quite nicely, to be honest with you. It's just, how can you put it? It kind of just did what it needed to do on this particular show. I really enjoyed it for what it was. Kind of short. We've got no timings on this, and it's difficult to do timings because they are edited down a little bit to fit it into a 2-hour YouTube, I presume, for a 2-hour TV show or a YouTube show presentation. So they are edited down to quite crisp matches. You don't get introductions and entrances and stuff. This isn't the full-on Dancing Girls presentation CMLL are kind of known for, but it's fun and it's free. That's the main thing. It's free. The next match, La Mafia, Leo, Omar Brunetti, and Vanquero Jr. defeated Arzrequien, Bestia Negra, and Dominio Maya 2-1. Again, fun. La Mafia kind of baby faces. And it's difficult, I think, possibly more so how can I put it? The CMLL house style, or lucha style in general, tends to be a bit generic. And I kind of flow along with it really, really well. So unless I know somebody really well, like in the next few matches, I know at least one person in the match, it can kind of all flow into one. But this one stood out a little bit just because it was pretty crisp. You've got some veterans in there. Dominio Mayo, for instance, he's a freelancer. He's been at it 17 years. Bestia Negra, he's been at it for 5 years. So there's a kind of level of ability there that kind of makes things a bit easier. La Mafia have been together since 2021. They're kind of one of the factions within CMLL. Though there tends to be just a kind of a Rudos Technikos kind of deal going on in CMLL. Not so many factions these days. But yes, it's fun. I enjoyed it. Next up did involve someone I knew, which is Yutani, who I know from being in Black Generation International in Glate. He was tagging with Chris Skin. Yes, a masked wrestler called Chris Skin, though I think it's possibly to do with the amount of tattoos he has, which you don't really see in the outfit he's wearing. They were going up, and also Barbosa, they were going up against Zulia, Persa, and Drago. So this was quite a fun match. Watching Yutani in this particular, environment is a bit jarring because you're used to him as a killer heel, and being like a sneaky Rudos is an interesting switch for him. So I enjoyed that. That was fun. It was a good match. There was a lot going on. There were some ridiculous bumps in this match. I think it was Barbosa dropped Gageo from a powerbomb onto the wooden floor. That was mad. Yeah, it's pretty stiff. Yutani, of course, is also wrestling Japanese style in lucha, so he's laying in some pretty stiff kicks, which was pretty fun to watch, watching people react like, oh. But yeah, it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. Well worth the watch. Yeah, go watch. It's free. You've got no excuse. It's free. Interesting presentation as well in CMLL because they have one regular camera, and then they have another camera, which is what's called a prime lens. So I'm a photographer, so I use prime lenses all the time. If I want to focus on something in the foreground and let the background fall away, you can kind of like really stack up your perspective using it. So it will focus in on the wrestler, and the rest of the background just falls into nothingness, which is really intriguing. Noah used that a lot. Makes everything kind of like look like a Fallout Boy video. So that's presentation. Interestingly, male and female crew on the commentary team taking turns as lead announcer. Really interesting. I thought that was showing how far CMLL have come, which traditionally has always been a very conservative organisation. Having a female lead announcer, exceptional. Really enjoyed that. That was good. Can't understand the word they're saying, obviously, but it's nice that was happening. So yeah, I enjoyed the presentation. Especially for me, I've kind of like got over big entrances to an extent. I want to get to the matches. So it was kind of wrestling kind of edited in my way of appreciating wrestling. Bell to bell action, that's all that we really saw. Didn't really see promos or anything like that. It was fun. I liked it like that. In the semi-main event, Fria Roja, Guerrero de la Muerte, and Rafaga went up against Cruz, Dark Magic, and Okamura. Okamura is a Japanese wrestler who's lived in Japan for years and years and years, and is found a home. Has really found a home in CMLL. Has been with them for decades now. At the moment is a Technikos, along with Dark Magic, who's another guy who's a veteran who didn't really find a home in the United States either. He kind of found a home in Mexico. So it's intriguing watching Okamura as a babyface because I've only really known him as a Rudos. As a Technikos. I've only really known him as a Rudos. And you kind of along for the ride as a Technikos in these matches, and he did that really, really well. He switched styles really well. Dark Magic I really like a lot. He was good. A lot of fun to watch. And in general, Guerrero La Morte and Roja and Rafaga as sneaky Rudos were really good. I enjoyed that. It was a fun match. The main event was something a little bit more intriguing. Also kind of like had a, how can I put it, what's the word, had a bit more of a presence to it because of people I knew about. Les Hermanos Chavez, Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja, lost this match by disqualification in the final four against Dulce Gardiena, who is a Exotico, and Titan. Obviously, we know Titan from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's a member of the Unaffiliated now. And Dulce Gardenia is an Exotico, and very much in the traditional sense of an Exotico. So he's definitely because he's very, very straight in real life, as most Exoticos are, funnily enough, is portraying a feminine man with kind of like, he's got baby face traits of being obsessed with his position, and it's really hard for me because it's kind of like there's so many Exoticos have gone really hard on like making Exoticos acceptable now, and Gardenia he does an awful lot of things. He goes to Pride and represents like LGBTQI, the company LGBTQI events. And it's not as negative as it used to be, where they were always heels and they were always like sex mad and they were always kind of presented as predatory. This is kind of fun predatory, but it's still predatory. So it's like, and this is the trouble with wrestling of any form as a kind of what's the word I'm looking for, as a morality play for anything, is it's too blunt of an instrument to tell stories you want to tell, and this is a good example of that. Gardenia is a fantastic wrestler. He's amazing, and the character work he does also amazing. However, it still makes me uncomfortable. But there's that. Titan, absolutely amazing as a pro wrestler, as you can imagine. And Les Hermanos Chavez, Angel de Oro, and Niebla Roja, also fantastic wrestlers. This went all the way to the end, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and it was a pretty fantastic main event. Obviously, kind of an odd finish with the DQ in CMLL, where pinfalls tend to rule and submissions tend to rue the day, but a lot of fun. Whilst I enjoyed it, it was good. Not a lot else to say. You can find it on YouTube on CMLL's network. I'll put the link in the description on all of our platforms. Thank you very much for listening to this short and sweet today at Wrestling Christmas. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Oh, you can find me at Sheriff Lone Star on Twitter, Pixelfed and Blue Sky, and you can find the show, Trooping Show, on Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram. You can also like and subscribe. That would be lovely, especially if you're on YouTube. Helps with the old algorithm there. We're trying to keep our subscriber numbers ticking over steadily. Any more would be lovely. Thank you very much. Bye.